We were on the Country versus Metal podcast with Hayden Baker. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, buddy. Good to see you.
Dude, great to talk to you. I'm excited as a fellow guitar player.
Yeah, man, I've been watching your channel since the inception because I'm not a metal head per se, but I'm a big fan of certain metal stuff. And so when I saw the name of your account, I was like, this is up my alley. So, and then, since you've shared some of the guitar heavy stuff, I was like, yeah, I think him and I would get along just fine.
Yeah. Do, do you know how I was introduced to your music?
No, how's that?
I was doing a live and Jackson, his name's Shorty on here. He plays drums for Caleb Michael and the rest that last I,
Okay.
I talked to him. I was just doing a live, just doing requests, playing guitar, and it was Don't Meet Your Heroes. And
Oh yeah.
I typed it in. I'm like, come on, dude. Like I'm just starting the journey of actually using these
Yeah, the
fingers.
hybrid picking, yeah.
Yeah. And dude, it's I love it. I love it and hate it at the same time because I can't do it right. Like
Yeah.
I because it's so annoying when my right hand it's faster than my fingers. Now is there a point where that ever reaches past that or
I now that you mention it, I think I kind of dealt with that early on too. It's like I could get speed with the picking hand, but I could not get the left hand to keep up. But yeah, I guess just once you do it enough, it kind of becomes second nature and part of you a little bit. But man, I had to practice this morning because we're kind of in a down period of playing, so we're not out on the road as much.
yeah.
And I know when like if I just don't play for a few weeks and then try to pick up the telly before showtime, I'll be like, yeah, I'm a click or two too slow. So
Yeah.
I was doing it today, like, oh man, I gotta loosen up.
Yeah, people don't realize that to keep that high degree, you have to practice.
Oh
Like
yeah, it's use it or lose it.
yeah, it's
That's pretty much
amazing.
what it is.
Yeah, it's amazing how fast you can lose it. It's you would think because like all the muscle memory is there, and it's wild. Like
Yeah,
I took a break once, and I was walking down the boardwalk of the beach, and this guy was trying to play Nutshell, and I was
yeah.
like, here, I'll show you how to play it. And I was like, I couldn't do it. I wrote down the chords, and he's like, well, you know the chords. Like, I'm like, I don't want to talk right now. I was so embarrassed, and I was like, I'm never taking a break ever again. But yeah, just like that, it was
Yeah,
gone. And that's a very simple song, and but
totally.
yeah, yeah,
But yeah, man.
I, I'm trying like not to be so excited, but dude, I love your playing.
Oh,
Absolutely, I'm
thank you, man.
blown away by it. It's awesome, and
Thank
and, and it's funny is like that was like a great song for me to be introduced to your music because I know you have a relationship with Brad Paisley, and
you. Mhm.
people will say like he's one of the greatest guitar uh, country players ever, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
give me a song, and they Whiskey Lullaby. I was like, fantastic song. It
yeah,
hit me in a
totally.
totally different way, but I was like, this is
Doesn't
not.
flex the guitar muscles. Yeah.
Yes. That's not at
Uh,
all what I wanted. And then I will also like looking you up. Like your main was gifted from Brad Paisley, right? Is that his
yeah,
guitar?
it's right here actually. Um, I'm coming back. Don't worry. It's this one right here.
And
It's a 53 refin.
nice.
Pretty cool instrument, man. It's awesome. It's one of the greatest. I still don't every time because it is number one, and I play it every show 100 dates a year, and then I practice on it, and it's just kind of a routine thing. I get used to this is my baby. This is the thing I'm so used to playing, and I need to write it on my studio wall. Brad Paisley gave you this, so I'll remember because I'll just get so caught up in like, oh, I'm not playing well today, or oh, we're not selling tickets to this show, and it's just like, do you realize where this guitar came from, dude? Quit your complaining. Like
Yeah.
you got it pretty good with this thing. So now I'm so thankful for that guitar. But yeah, man, Don't Meet Your Heroes is that thing is a beast. one of my buddies that lives down here in Texas that I write songs with a lot. We wrote "Letting You Go" and a couple other ones on my new record together. He's a phenomenal acoustic player and harmony vocalist and just vocalist in general. And he's playing some shows with us coming up in January. So we're getting together tomorrow to. I'm going to show him like some acoustic parts that I've recorded for him to play. And he texted me the other day and goes, "Dude, I just listened to Don't Meet Your Heroes. What the hell?" He's like, "What do you want me to do on that?" And I was like, "Yeah, just you can play the acoustic solos. Don't worry about trying to keep up with all the chords. I know it's a nightmare. I'll do all the stupid stuff." so so yeah, it's that's quite the track.
Yeah, and I like at the end where he's like, "I got to call my lawyer," right, or
Yep.
something like that. It's
Yeah. It's funny how that came to be. This was God, I guess 2 or 3 years ago. I was writing up in Nashville at Seagale Music, which I think Brad owns or he used to own or whatever, that publishing company. And he texted me that day and said, "What are you doing um, this afternoon?" And I said, "Nothing. I'm just finished up writing here." And he said, "Well, I'll come pick you up. I want to show you some songs and stuff." And so he swung by and grabbed me, and we drove around Nashville. He's a terrible driver, by the way. Like we almost got in 3 or 4 different accidents. But he was showing me some songs, and then I showed him some, and he asked me what was going on, upcoming with my career. And I hadn't written a lick for an instrumental, but I was like, "This is my opportunity." And I asked him, I was like, "Hey man, I'm thinking about doing an instrumental track on my next record. Would you want to be on it with me?" And he didn't hesitate. He said, "Oh, absolutely. I'll smoke your ass on it, but yeah, I'll do it." I'm like, "Yeah, you will." And he said, "Yeah, just send me, what I need." And I was like, "Oh my gosh." So I go home and I'm like, I got to write something now that is worthy of one of the best guitar players alive to be on the track with me. And I just kind of sat down and Don't Meet Your Heroes, the progression and everything came out in about a half hour. And I was like, I don't know if this makes any sense with all these key changes and stuff, but we're going to find out. And sure enough, man, I left him a solo, sent it to him. He sent it back. And I was just like, oh my gosh, he actually did it. And the solo that he played on it is nuts. Like it's when it key changes up to A, like a minute and change in, that's him playing. You can kind of tell the difference in the tone and the attack. And I listened to that and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is incredible." Like he's playing out of his mind. So I'm glad that you heard that track first, man. As a guitar player, I think that's the perfect way to get it introduced to what I do for sure.
yeah, 100%. And yeah, to try to improv and learn it on the spot, I was like, no, there's
Yeah,
no way.
Godspeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, because like I'm still I'm still trying to learn how to be like a country guitar player. I'm still like learning like the power of like open strings,
hmm
which being a shred kind of guy, you don't really emphasize open strings, but man, you can really use them to build up a complex sound without
Oh
really
yeah.
adding more left hand or anything. I've been finding that to be
Totally.
pretty
I
cool.
find it like a cheat code, honestly. Like when you want to get, change positions on the neck real fast, it's like just throw in a random open string and that frees up your left hand to find a new shape or get to a new part on the neck. I use it all the time in my playing. Like there's songs on the other record and solos where when I would sit down to write a solo, I kind of would have a melodic idea in mind of like where I want to go, and then when I had that, I was like, okay, now are there any notes that I'm playing that I could replace with open strings? Like, is there a B note that I'm playing that I could play the open B string instead, or a G note or whatever? And then, and ultimately there's usually a couple, and then that's how I kind of develop that it's kind of like you're just jumping around, that sound. So I love using open strings. I use them too much, probably.
Yeah, I love it. I can't believe as like a guitar player, like I always back when like print form was real popular, I always got like the Guitar Worlds and whatnot. I always did like the best guitar players in the world. They never have any country guys because I would look if I didn't like know a name, I would look into them,
Yeah.
and I don't think they get enough shine because like like what you do and what Brad does and all those Johnny Highland and Brent
Yeah.
Mason, it's amazing. It's
Oh yeah.
incredible. It's
It
because
truly is. It's like it's playing clean, like with a clean tone, or like Jerry Reed on a gut string. It's like there is nowhere to hide. There is
yeah,
no room for error. If you make a mistake playing like that, everybody's gonna know, and so that's yeah. I definitely think the Brads and the Steve Warners and Vince Gills and the Roy Clarks and Glenn Campbells and Jerry, like they're definitely underrated as far as the when you look at the Rolling Stone top 100 guitar player
yeah,
list. It's like, okay, what are your metrics? Is it the most influential? Is it the most technically gifted? Is it just the most melodic? What's the parameters here? But yeah, man, country playing is a beast of its own, and I too am still just a total student of it and always trying to learn and improve and learn from the guys like Brad and Brent and all them.
yeah. I love it. Like I went out. I was obsessed with like G and B benders, so I had to
Mhm.
have. I just went out and got a Brent Mason telly. And I was just like,
Nice.
I'm gonna sit and do this. Yeah, like Fender had. They finally had a deal on Fender. It was like 10% off, and
There you go.
Sweetwater, they'll drive your credit down in the ground.
No
Like,
kidding.
oh,
Yeah.
how about take a year to pay?
Yeah.
Get this back.
Absolutely. That's great, man.
Yeah, a little frustrating.
Hmm.
It when I can do it with the right hand, but once it don't sound it don't sound the same, and it don't have that flavor and flair and
Yeah, it's an attack for sure. Like a
yeah,
lot of Brad's tone for sure comes from just how he attacks the strings. He's very aggressive. And I kind of am too. You can hear, I mean, I play a similar rig and stuff to him that reacts well to a heavy attack. But people ask a lot, like, where does your tone come from? And, how do you achieve that tone? What amp, what pedal? And it's like, a lot of it is in the right hand, man. It's a lot of
yeah,
it is in how you attack those strings.
yeah. I do love your tone though. I
Thank you.
I I love the sound of those Z-Rex.
They're
They're
great, man. They're great. You would appreciate this. I've said this in a couple of interviews, but not a lot of people care about how we achieve the guitar tone, and I'm sure you would. Not on this last record, but the one before, the one that "Don't Meet Your Heroes" is on, that came out last year. We we tried this method of miking where I had a 212 cab in like an acoustic booth with the door open to the tracking room, and it was double mic'd in there. We had two room mics going in the tracking room where I am, and then we also put a condenser mic on my picking hand on the telly to pick up the acoustics of the pick attack and stuff like that. So it was that was a fun little trial and error thing with that last record. I really love the tone we've gotten from that.
yeah, that's a cool method. So
Yeah.
I I gotta go listen to it
Yeah.
and
The
really
one track where I think you can definitely hear all of that together is the title track of it. It's Barely Getting By. There's a lot of good guitar stuff on that song, and that's where we kind of really took all those different mics and blended them together.
nice. Is that something you guys tried or was
Yeah,
that
it was just kind of me and my producer and the engineer. We record here in Texas, in deep East Texas at Rosewood Studios. My producer Travis Bishop kind of had the idea to do the picking hand mic, and then we did the room mics and stuff, and we just kind of listened to each recording of each mic and was like, oh, that one sounds pretty good. Let's put that one in here, and just they worked their magic blending it all together. So, but we're always reaching and trying to find different things. When Brad sent his parts for "Don't Meet Your Heroes," there was like 10 different like stems for one take. Like room mic one, room mic two, close mic one. Like it's just crazy.
that's wild. What size pick do you use?
Man, I don't know if I have any around me, but they're the jazz picks, really heavy.
Yeah.
1 point something, I guess is what it would be.
Okay.
But yeah, I've got to go heavy because I pick really hard,
Yeah.
and I need that durability because I would use those like the celluloid picks back in the day, and I would break them. They
Yeah.
would snap off on me just because I was hitting the strings so hard. So I use the heavy jazz picks. They're custom. I order them custom and put the logo on it, but it's kind of reminiscent to like those Tortex, I guess
Hmm.
jazz pick. So yeah, I think they give you can hit the strings harder, and with those jazz, size, it's a little more aerodynamic. You can go a little bit faster. I feel like.
Yeah. It isn't. There's so many variables of what you can change.
Oh yeah,
And it's just never ending. Yeah, I was always just
wow.
wondering that because the one thing that I don't know why the one thing that always drives me crazy when I hear like a recording is if they're playing an acoustic and they're using a thin pick, that
Yeah,
like the sound of that, it just bothers me.
it's
I'm like,
different. Yeah,
yeah, that you can hear it snap, and it's I don't know, it's
yeah.
just I don't know, it's weird.
I'm with you, man. I can't use those. My buddy calls them. Those are just tater chip picks. Like I can't use those. I don't know how people do.
Yeah, and and I think like I don't know if you know who Paul Gilbert is. He uses
Mhm.
like a thin pick, which I never would have guessed that.
I wouldn't have either.
Yeah, that guy blows my mind. He's he's another name that not a lot of people know, but my God, is
Yeah,
he's a monster, and
totally.
he does like a really cool seminars on like how to write music and the way how he'll take like a famous song and like extrapolate the melody and turn it into something else, and it's just when you write like that, it's just endless. It's
Yeah,
it's really cool.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, it's funny. I wonder like when people listen to this that they don't know, like guitar stuff, and they're like,
Yeah,
oh, they're talking about gear.
yeah. Speaking Chinese.
Yeah, but yeah, man. So this last record, you just been doing shows off of it and getting it out
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Totally. I've been living down here in Texas. I've been touring this Texas circuit for 7 years, probably now 6 or 7 years, and this is my fifth project I've put out independently, just totally independently funded, and all that stuff. And we just try try new things on each record in the studio, and just get out there and try to sell tickets down here. And it's been a good year in 2025 for sure. We've definitely seen more people out at shows, more people that know the words to the songs and are singing them back to us, that's just the best feeling in the world. um, and we're set to do even more next year. We're going to be venturing out a little bit more. I know we're already playing in Oklahoma in January, and I think up in Kansas in March. We're actually headlining a festival in Norway in August next year, so that'll be fun. Um, and then yeah, just continuing to go to Nashville and write up there, and write down here as much as I can, build the catalog, and we'll hit the studio again when the time's right and start project number 6.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, has anybody tried to pick you up like a big name because of how good you are playing guitar?
No. Oh, to go play guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, Brooks and Dunn offered me a spot this. I guess it was in January. I've known Ronnie Dunn, the main singer and guy. Uh, I've known him forever, and he signed me to a publishing deal in 2021, I think. And I wrote for him for a while. Have written with him a bunch, and he's kind of been a mentor to me, on the writing side and the Nashville side of things for a while. And he's known of my playing ability all the while, but he was like, "If you're writing and you're singing, you need to get in the shop and work on and stuff." And so, but this past year we were talking quite a bit. And he called me back in January and said they were looking for a guitar player, and I was on the list of folks they were interested in. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" And he's like, "I know you probably can't do it because you're playing a bunch and you got your artist thing you're doing. And we respect that." And I'm like, "Yeah, but dude, I'd love to make both work." Like,
Yeah.
that would be a dream come true. Like I've been playing, it's all those Brent Mason solos on Brooks and Dunn stuff. That's what I cut my teeth on. So we talked for a couple of days about whether or not we can make it work, and ultimately they were like, "You'd have to give up the artist thing, if you were to come play for us on the road, it's that demanding and stuff." So they said, "We don't want to take you away from what you're doing. We believe in what you're doing, and we support you." So, and I've had a couple other offers come in. I think it was the Josh Turner gig maybe a couple years ago. I got reached out to about, and the Brooks and Dunn one, turning that one down, I was like, "Oh my gosh, did I just make the worst mistake like ever, or was this the right call?" And I called my buddy out of Nashville that I stay with and write with, and he said he had just gone and saw Vince Gill play at the Listening Room the night before, and Vince told the story, which I didn't know about, that he turned down a gig to play for the Dire Straits before he got a record deal. And he said, if I'm not going to believe in myself as an artist, then how do I expect anybody else to? And I was like, I didn't know he did that. And he was like, yeah. And my buddy sent me the recording of him telling that story like the night before. And I was like, okay, I'll take that as a sign. We're on the right track here. And since then, Ronnie and I have gotten together and written a couple songs together, and I love how those have turned out. And he's been super supportive of this record that came out. He's been sending it around to labels and stuff in Nashville too. So I think we made the right call, but it was a tough decision for sure.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Because even not ever listen to country like that, like Brooks and Dunn. I knew that name.
Oh yeah, you're playing in front of 20,000 people a night if you take that gig.
Yeah,
So one day, one
yeah,
day.
yeah. And then one day it'll say, your name.
That's right. That's right.
Because like when it's got to be cool to be on stage when people don't know who you are, and then you just bust out with your playing.
Yeah.
It just because I know what my face would have done. I would have been like, because that playing ability right now, it's not scarce, but it's just not. Like it feels like back in the day, like all the older guys, like it was kind of like the same with like 80s hair metal. Like you needed a great guitar player to be taken serious.
Totally. It feels like it's definitely not in the mainstream that much. You got Zach Tops playing his ass off right now, and he's a great bluegrass picker and is a great telly player too. But there's like, no, you're right. It's like there was a time where it was Vince and Steve and Skaggs and Brad Paisley, and then Keith Urban came along, and things like that. But now it's like there's a ton. I will say there's a ton of us that are pickers that are not a big name. There's a ton of us that are around my age or in their early 30s that can really just play their ass off. But we don't have any record deals yet or any big hits, and that's kind of the thing. It's like I've heard John Mayer talk about this, who I'm a big fan of as a guitar player as well, and Brad too. It's like if you can be a great player, but if you don't have the songs to play on that people want to listen to, it's you're not going to get heard. Like it's being a great player is all fine and good, but you got to have the vehicles for people to hear you, and that's the song. Which is that's the challenge, man, is to write songs that are worthy of people actually listening and sitting through a guitar solo that's 45 seconds because they want to hear that last chorus one more time.
Yeah, that's true. I like the one thing you do. You kind of like every so often in your songs, you'll like introduce the guitar solo.
Oh yeah,
when you're like, let's show them, or some little like rev up.
I do that, don't I? I think there's one. Yeah, there's one on this new album called "Country Ain't Going Nowhere," where at the end I say, "Let's prove it to him" or something. Yeah. I just get there and I'm doing my vocal takes in the studio, and I've already done my guitar parts by that point, so I'm listening to them, and I'll finish the take, and then I'll just say something stupid, and we wind up keeping it in.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like it. It's just cool because like here we go.
Yeah,
Especially
a little attitude to it. Alan Jackson used to do that quite a bit. We play um, Who's Cheating Who in the set, and there's a great couple of Brent Mason solos on that, and he just goes guitar right before Brent goes. He always used to do that kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, Brent Mason. That's another name. I still can't believe that it never came across any like word of mouth or literature because the dude's a monster. He's on everything.
He's on everything, man, and it's so cool because he's getting him and all the Nashville cats, Paul Franklin and all them. They're getting called again in the 2020s to play on the Zach Top stuff and on all the new, young guys stuff because that sound is popping again. That was the 90s when on the Alan Jackson records and the Brooks and Dunn records. So it's got to be crazy for him that he was the biggest thing in the world, as a studio musician on all the number one songs in the 90s and 80s and 2000s and stuff. And then there was kind of a lull where it was more of the bro country and heavier guitars and stuff was popular. And now it's kind of come back around and he's getting the calls and getting on all the songs that are going to the top again
Yeah,
with that style. That's got to be crazy for him.
yeah. I follow him on a bunch of socials, and it's just when he's just like, "All right, just go," and what he
Yeah.
comes out with, it's amazing.
It's wild.
Yeah, that's just the one thing. Like the ability to put all the shapes together in phrases and to be able to jump in and jump out and that's always been something I've always kind of like lacked and always had a problem with. And it's but with like the country thing, it's not like it's easier, it just fits a little bit better. What
Yeah.
I really, yeah, I it's definitely like changed my life from, because I love guitars.
Yeah.
I have a lot of guitars, and it's like what I love to do, and to see it played in such, it's like brutal, like
Yeah.
it's like what I always say, like when you have two guitar players, why not use two of them to do two things? And it's like at the same time you have two hands and you got all these fingers, why not use all of them?
Yeah,
And
exactly. Playing like the Chet Atkins stuff and like all the the bass line with a thumb. It's crazy.
yeah,
It's funny you say that too. Is like I grew up. I wasn't playing guitar a lot when I was a kid. I was playing sports and stuff, but I played Guitar Hero when it came out, and I was shredding on Expert and stuff, and I was listening to, rock and metal and blues stuff a lot in high school. Just whatever would get me amped up for a football game or a baseball game, I'm throwing on. And I always loved the guitar. And even in like when I would listen to Brooks and Dunn stuff, I loved the songs that had really cool guitar intros or guitar solos before I was even playing. And then it was when I started playing guitar that I heard Paisley play. I saw him play at the rodeo. And I was like, "Oh my god." Like this guy is incredible. He's just running around the arena just ripping solos. And I was like, "I want to do that." And when I went home and downloaded his instrumental album Play, which I don't know if you've listened to that yet, front to back.
no, I didn't even know about it. Does that have, what is it called, a nervous breakdown? Is that
No, nervous. So he did pretty much an instrumental per record, I think, throughout his career.
huh?
And Nervous Breakdown was on his first album,
Oh,
but
okay.
he did a full-on instrumental album in like 2008. It's called Play. Go listen to it after this. You will be just if you have it if you think you're blown away by Brad Paisley now, you're gonna lose your mind. It is it's like 14 songs. He's got one song on there with Keith Urban that they sing on, one with I think Steve Wariner that they sing on. He's got him and BB King's play Let the Good Times Roll and sing and
Nice.
play on it. And then everything else, the other 10 tracks, they're instrumentals. And one of them it's called Cluster Pluck. And it's got him, Brent Mason, Vince Gill, Steve Wariner, John Jorgensen, James Burton, Albert Lee, and Red Volkart on it. And they're all playing chicken picking. And I'm literally studying it again right now because I'm like, I need some new licks. I need some new inspiration. And I'm like, I'm going to go learn the cluster pluck licks that I haven't learned yet. And then there's like there's one called Cliffs of Rock City where he kind of pays homage to Eric Johnson and like does some of that stuff. There's a jazz number, there's a bluegrass number, there's a surf like number. It's in the record is absolutely incredible. That that changed my life. When I heard that and listened to it front to back, I was like, I don't know how, but I'm gonna learn how to play all like this. I'm gonna figure this out because the tone, the just everything, it's just incredible. So definitely go listen to the Brad Paisley play, the full album front to back. You're gonna be blown away.
Yeah, dude, I'm definitely gonna check that out because I've never really did a deep dive on Brad Paisley. I've seen him play a lot, like
Mhm.
demos and stuff. Because I thought about buying it, the Doctor Z rec because I wanted a combo,
Yeah.
and obviously he's demoing it in a lot of the videos because it's his signature, right?
Yeah, kind
Combo.
of. He's him and Z collaborated on 4 or 5 different amps over the years, and the Z-Rec is the biggest one, the main one. That's what I use all the time too. It's truly is one of the best amps on the market.
Yeah, I love the sound of it. I have a Kemper, and I have I used to like it's modeled off the train wreck, which
Yeah.
the Z wreck. So kind of the same. And then I found out Dr. Z has Kemper profiles, so every once in a
Mhm.
while, it has this like chimey harmonic clarity that just
Yeah,
it's like a well, that's what the train wreck was just like a souped up AC30, right?
pretty
Just
much. Yeah, man. That's one I've got to get my hands on one of those one day and play through a train wreck. That's something I haven't done yet. Because
yeah,
that man, they're hard to find. I know Brad's got a couple of them, but they are hard to find.
yeah. And imagine they're
Hmm.
they're probably up there in Dumble prices.
Totally, totally.
Yeah, it's
But yeah, definitely go listen to that record. You will love as a guitar player. Just you'll love it.
yeah. I'm excited to check it out because yeah, like I I used to love listening to instrumental, like like Steve Vai and Joe Satriani and
Oh yeah,
stuff, and it's cool that on the other side they have that as well.
totally. Yeah, and he's like I said, he's done pretty much an album over his 10 or 11 albums he's put out. So there's probably 15 or 20 instrumentals that he's done in his career, and they're all just they're blistering, man. It's so cool, so cool.
Yeah, that's what I tell people when I'm like I want to hear Paisley, and I'll put the song on, and they say it. I'm like, no, that's not what I wanted. Like that's once again your song. Don't meet your heroes. Like if someone's a guitar player, that's what you want to give them because it's awesome. It shows the ability and the phrasing, the songwriting. Like it's just not because doing country, like not that it's easy to play fast, but it's easy to play fast if that makes any sense. But the phrase,
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah,
yeah, the phrasing and the way how like the licks run together and using the benders and holding notes and then pedaling off notes, it's really cool. And it's because even if you try to duplicate it or imitate somebody, it's not going to sound. It's still going to sound like yourself, and that's what I really like about it. Because like it really sets your playing apart
yeah,
from player to player. Whereas like shred music, it gets really hard to find people's characteristics if it because especially if it's all those like sweet picker people and all the
yeah.
arpeggios. But yeah, the country guitar is like way way different, and that's what I love about it as well. Because like you, after a while, the more you do find out, you can listen and be like, I think that's Brent Mason.
Oh
Like
yeah,
it is cool because not I'm still. I think we started doing 2022 is when I started doing these, and trying to do the chicken picking is. Uh, I'm getting. It's weird. I can play hot wired up to a point,
yeah.
but if I I'm still like having problems like where I trip, I
Yeah.
fall hard, and it's like I have to stop. I'm like, oh man. I'm just like, I can't.
Hotwired's a beast. Hotwired is tough. And you know the what I've heard about Hotwired too is whenever they cut it, because the record's in B flat, it's like
Yeah.
it's a half step up from standard A. It was recorded in A, slower. And I think Brent or somebody was like, it's too slow. Speed the tape up. And that's why it sounds like in B flat on the record.
Huh.
And that's why you'll see, like, I think there's a couple of interviews back in the 90s when he was going out promoting it. He was like, yeah, now I recorded it too fast. Now I got to play it this fast live every night.
That's
So
funny.
I don't think, I think the record was played slower in the key of A. And then Brent didn't like how it sounded. He was like, click it up a couple, in post and stuff.
That makes
Um,
sense because the shapes don't make any sense of
oh
of
yeah,
of a
no, yeah,
couple
totally.
parts where I'm like, why? Which is interesting because it defies all what I know of where to play with stuff
Yeah,
when it sounds like that. Interesting.
totally. And I feel the same way. And I really, this is one of my, if I had to pinpoint like a quality of my playing and how I learn how to play that I'm really proud of, it's that when I try to learn something, be it from Brad or Brent or Vince or whoever it is, I always, over the past few years, now that I've learned a lot about the guitar and I know the ins and outs of it and everything, I'm always having discernment if I'm watching or I'm looking at a tab or I'm watching a video of somebody that's already learned it and playing it. Because, like, for example, Cluster Pluck, there's a couple of licks that Brad does in it that I hadn't learned yet. And just the other day, I was like, I'm going to sit down and try to figure out what he's doing here. Because I've always, when I listen to it, that always perks my ear up and I haven't sat down and figured it out. And there was a guy that was on YouTube and he made a tab of it and was playing through it. And so I watched his video and the way he's playing it, I'm like, that he could tell he's like jumping around from different positions. And I'm like, no, I don't think that's what Brad was doing. Because when it comes to guitar playing, we always, especially in the studio when it's recording time and creative time, we kind of revert to our tricks a little bit and we do what feels good to play, what's comfortable to play. um and when I see or when I see a tab or I see a video of somebody playing something that I'm trying to learn and it looks like it's hard or it looks like it's not possible, I'm like, I don't think that's what they were doing. And then you remember that you can play a freaking B note in six different spots on the neck.
Yeah.
So it's like maybe he wasn't up here, maybe he was down here. And then it's like, okay, well, he said the tabs shows that you're playing fifth fret B string, but what if he's actually playing the open E? Like, what if it's the open string? And that has unlocked for me having that mentality of like having good discernment of not completely trusting what the tab says or what the video says and listening to the record and like slowing the record down and doing that is like, no, that is an open string. And like, oh, and that he's pulling off. Oh, okay. And then it unlocks for me like what the lick actually is. And it's like, oh, he's just in the same position, just going, open string pull off, and it's like, duh. Like, of course he was there. But you don't get it on the first listen. It's like, oh, that sounds so complicated. That sounds out of this world. And it's like, oh no, he's up there doing that. And so that's one thing that I really am proud of like how I've gained knowledge of the guitar neck and stuff is not just believing what every tab book says kind of thing.
Yeah. Even the official ones back in the day,
Yeah.
I I'm like, no, that doesn't seem right because
Yeah.
even the guitar players that can play super complex, they they don't at the same time.
Yeah.
They play whatever's comfortable.
Exactly, because you got to go do it every night on
Yeah.
stage. It's like you're not going to do something in the studio that you can't pull off every night. You're going to do what feels natural to you.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and fair warning, if you listen to play that record and you're like, oh my gosh, I want to go learn this one, there is an official tab book that's like for sale in the App Store. It is not right. There is a lot in there that is not right. So just fair warning.
Yeah. So because sometimes, I will just jump the tabs because, sometimes by ear
Yeah.
it just takes a little longer. Even though
Yeah.
it's very important to be able to do that as well, because especially improvising, playing with people.
Absolutely.
But now with your solos and your songs, do you replicate them 100% on stage, or do you vary from the record, or you just keep homage to it, and if however you're feeling?
It's a good balance for sure. There's a couple of songs where like I'll there's a couple of songs where it's like I know I did something crazy at the very end of the solo, and then I have to start singing the last chorus while I'm finishing that phrase and stuff. And so there's a couple of tweaks I've made to like the ending of some solos to like make them a little more manageable and I can get back up and sing. But for the most part, I do if it's like if it's like the bridge solo in a song that I took a lot of time to write and cultivate and make a certain way, I definitely replicate it as much as I can live. The only time I really deviate is if like we're doing like an extended solo on an outro or something. That's where I'll kind of have some fun and I'll improvise and stuff like that. But even when we do like we'll do like a Brad cover and a Brooks and Dunn cover and a John Mayer cover like in the show every night. Even those like solos, I I do my best to play them note for note like those guys did on the record because I'm like, you know, somebody needs to like they're going to play their shows and they do their thing and maybe they don't play this song in the set anymore, it wasn't that popular, but that solo's pretty dang good and I want to do my part to let people hear it, in a live setting. So I don't typically like if we play Waiting on a Woman by Brad Paisley, like I want to play his solo note for note in the show and pay homage to what an incredible solo that thing is and not just try to put my own stank on it and kind of thing. And even and yeah, with mine too, I would say for the most part, I replicate live unless it's physically impossible to do it and try to sing at the same time or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. I had a show. They called me the day before. I was like, "Hey, can you play lead?" I'm like, "Yeah," and people were like mad. They're like, "That's not how you play that solo." I'm like, "I don't know how to play it."
Yeah,
That's
I just got the call. Like,
yeah. I typed in what key, listened to it, found the key, and that's what it said right on the set list.
no,
If I didn't know it, yeah, it was weird. Of course, it was Leonard Skinner, and they're like, "That ain't the
yeah,
solo." I'm like, "Oh,
yeah,
I know. Believe
yeah.
me."
I've heard it. I'm aware. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm trying to like improvise and whistle with my fingers, but it just wasn't hitting
yeah,
right, and I didn't want to get
yeah.
outside the
Totally,
box. But yeah,
totally. I love having moments in the show where we definitely can just have fun and improv and just kind of sit back and breathe. But no, my one of my favorite things to do as a guitar player is sit down and play along to my favorite records and play what those guys were playing, play what Brad was playing, and play what Brent's playing. Like that always rejuvenates my soul as a guitarist when I get maybe burnt out on the road or just like I don't have the urge to practice or play. I'll put on my favorite records and I'll play along to them note for note and learn what they were doing. And so it's like when it comes down to picking the covers for our show, it's just like what guitar solos do I want to play this week?
yeah,
Which Brad solo do I want to throw in the set? That's kind of what keeps it fun for me on the road for sure.
yeah, and people people like have something to compare you to. I always feel like I mean,
Yeah,
I get when people like if you play like almost all covers, I can get why people get upset because they came to see
oh
you.
yeah,
But man, even like the big names when they bust out a cover, it's really cool to hear somebody else do it. And yeah, when you're doing a Brad Paisley song and they get to see like you can play it note for note, you know,
Yeah,
it
it's
really
like why wouldn't I? You know, I feel like why shouldn't I do a Brad song and stuff like that? And yeah, it's really is covers. I feel like are just so important to the genre with country too. It's there's so many different people that have recorded different hit songs. I mean, you look at Cody Johnson right now. He put up just an acoustic video of that "Traveling Soldier" song and as a cover, and he sang he sang it well. The guys played it well in the band, and for like 3 years or whatever, 4 years, the internet was like, release it. You sang it so well, release it. And it's become like a thing for Cody. And he was just recording a video with his band playing a cover. And now it's like one of his, bigger moments. So and there's so many examples of that too in country music. So there's never going to be a time, I don't think, where I don't have one or two cover songs in our show just because they're just fun, man. It's fun to play what got you excited about the music in the first place. It's fun to do that with a band on stage in front of people. It's always so much fun.
yeah, 100%. It's and if people don't know you, they're singing. They're singing with you and they're feeling and they'll pay
Yeah,
attention especially if they know that there's a complicated guitar parts and you just nail them. They put you at the level of the original artist. Because
totally. Yeah, I would hope so. Yeah,
yeah, because I know like people that aren't musicians, like if they know the names Brent Mason and Brad Paisley, they'll know like they're considered greats.
yeah,
Your songs have all the same elements of the guitar playing, but they just may not notice that until it clicks in like, whoa, what he's doing is really impressive because some people they're hooked on the lyrics and whatnot.
hmm
And
yeah.
it's
And that's where, like I said, it's the balance of can you bring in you know the general public with your lyrics and your melodies and your songs and get them to be all excited about it, and then only then do they dive deep and go, oh wait, he's playing the guitar solos. Whoa, it's like that's a whole nother level. And it's like people still don't even know like that Brad can play like he can play. I
yeah,
feel like I don't want to say he struggled with that per se, but I would be growing up when I was learning all of his stuff, and I'm like trying to defend him, like he's one of the best guitar players in the world. He's incredible. And everyone's like, what? Like I would go online and look in comment sections on videos of his. Like for example, he did that. Have you seen that Game of Thrones thing where,
oh yeah,
yeah, when he's in there just ripping on that silver sparkle telly, the comments are all like, I didn't know Brad Paisley could shred. I didn't know Brad Paisley could play like that.
yeah,
And this was almost 2 decades into his career. And it's like, okay, if people don't know that he can shred, it's like I can't expect everybody to know that from me, at a lower level. It's like I have to get them, hooked in with the songs. And
yeah,
then we can, build a deeper relationship with the fans. They come see a show. You come see one of my shows, you'll know I can play because it's all I'm doing the entire show is just playing all the solos.
yeah,
So that's a whole nother thing. But it's such a wild thing because I would always be defending Brad to people like, you haven't seen him play guitar, and they're like, no, isn't he the one that just sings the fishing song, the Ticks song or something? He's just the funny country song guy. And I'm like, no, he's one of the best guitar players in the world.
yeah,
They didn't know. It's wild.
yeah. For the longest time before I started doing these, I knew Brad Paisley as the guy that liked pretty guitars because
Yeah, there you go.
I all of his signature guitars. I'd be like, oh, that's a pretty guitar.
Yeah,
That's how I knew him as because I knew his Fenders.
yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah, and here to come to find out, on the other side, I'm like, and that's like Jerry Reed and all those guys. Like
Oh, they're incredible.
I knew him from the Water Boy. I didn't know he was a musician.
Yeah,
Zero idea. And then you just watch him. He's got, no shoes on, playing a guitar, like, and
Yeah,
just
just getting
smiling,
after it.
looking around, and it's just destroying the thing. And I'm just like, my
Mhm.
God, that's crazy.
Yeah, man. It's a cool genre, man. I love how important the guitar is to it as well. I
Yeah,
love how much we revere and just we learn from and appreciate those guys like Jerry and Chet and Roy Clark and James Burton and all of them, and just everybody I think that plays appreciates what those guys did for the genre, and how they kind of started this whole chicken picking thing. And then the same goes for when it got to the '80s and it was Vince and Steve Warner and Ricky Skaggs and Ray Flack, and then the '90s with Brent and then Brad. And it's such a cool community to be a part of. And like I said, there are so many players and singers and writers that are at my level, and we're all friends and stuff. They're just monster guitar players, but we don't have any hit songs yet, so nobody knows who we are. But we're there, and we're trucking and trying, man.
yeah. Have you
So
ever tried acrylics on your right hand?
no, but man, I'm getting real close to wanting to because I got brittle nails. I'll let them grow a little bit, and it definitely makes playing easier and it sounds a little bit better to me. But it just a couple of shows and the nail will break off,
Mm,
So, and I've got buddies that have acrylics and that use them that are fantastic, and they're like, "Oh, dude, it's a game changer." But I'm just like, I've never had fake nails. I don't know. I don't know
yeah,
how I'd like it.
yeah.
Um,
I, I was watching, Brent Mason and Johnny Highland talk about getting acrylic nails, and I was like, man, let me just try. So I
yeah,
ordered like the 112 kit on Amazon,
yeah.
got the nail glue, glued them on, and went to go like shaved them down a little bit, went to go play, and was like, ow,
Oh,
ow.
really?
And I got the nail glue and I got the nails. I didn't get anything to take them off. So I had to take I was like,
Oh no.
there's no way I'm going to the pharmacy with these nails. I
Oh man.
I took a pair of Kleins and just ripped them off, and I was. But then, like, somebody was like, "No, that goes away." I'm like, you know what? Maybe like kind of like how calluses build, but it definitely
Yeah.
felt like, especially like when it round them off, and that it just glided over the strings like a pick.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. I've got this little side project that I do with two of my buddies, Scotty Alexander and David Lewis. Um, Scotty's been around a long time. He was band leader for Wayne Newton out in Vegas, in his 20s, and he's been around and done it all, man. He's a fantastic guitar player and fiddle player and singer. Um, but we've become friends, and the other guy, David Lewis, he's a little bit younger than me, lives just down the road here in Texas, and he's doing the same thing I'm doing. We're out here, playing shows and putting records out and stuff. And the three of us got together and started playing trio shows around Texas. And we don't know what to call ourselves, so we tentatively call ourselves the Texas Guitar Slingers. And it's just the three of us with acoustic guitars, and we're just going 90 miles an hour, for a 90-minute set. We'll go down the line, we'll play like original songs and some covers, we'll sing harmony on each other's stuff, and it's a blast. What's funny is we all have the same like brain when it comes to the guitar. We all are, we're students of Brad and Brent and Vince and Skaggs and all those guys, and we all have the same basic vocabulary of licks, and then we all kind of go off on our own tangents. But what's funny is Scotty has acrylics. I use the flesh of my fingers, and David has long nails that don't break and uses his actual nails.
Huh.
So all three of us are playing the same licks essentially, the chicken picking thing, but you got acrylics, flesh, and actual nail in the three of us. So, and I would love like I wish my nails would stay because right now they're a decent length, and I'll probably get a couple of practice sessions out of them, and then I'll start feeling it kind of getting flimsy, and I'll have to bite it off or something. I can't. They're weak nails, man. So I actually have a callus on the tip of my middle finger, um, from plucking so much. And Brad doesn't have acrylics either. I don't even think he has nails. I think he just uses his the flesh of his finger too.
Man,
So
yeah. I was just watching him the other day. It's it's so much like precision with the movement of his hands. That's like the one thing I've always found amazing, because like it just looks like his hand is like not really moving, but it's
Mhm.
producing so much sound.
Yeah.
And the fact that he doesn't use acrylics and whatnot, and just rakes those strings like that,
Hmm.
and it's just, I love it. It's
So cool.
yeah,
It's
but
so cool. A lot of it too is those Z amps, those British amps. They react so well to that style of playing,
yeah,
and it's crazy. It really amplifies and enhances what he does with his hands.
yeah, dude. And it's like another game changer I found was like using a compressor. Like
Yeah,
I'd never used a compressor before. I'd use it in like recording, but I'm like,
Brad doesn't use one.
no.
No, he and I it's interesting because I go back and forth. I play through a Z-Rec, but I have a compressor that I have on most of the time. But his reasoning is he's running usually four Z amps, I think. And he's like coupling them together, and he's like all these kind of crazy amalgamations of amp tones and stuff. And he said his argument is that when you get those tube amps cranked up so hot, like they compress on their own,
Yeah,
so he doesn't typically throw one in front of it, which is it's interesting because I'm only using one of them. I'm using a Z-Rec into a 212, and I just honestly I throw compressors on for the sustain, because I do. There's some moments in our show and on some of my songs where it's more of a overdriven guitar tone with a long delay, and I'm holding out longer notes. I'm not playing blistering chicken picking solos, and I want a little more of that compression and sustain in there. So but yeah, Brad doesn't typically use one,
huh?
which
Yeah,
I always had thought was interesting because that's just the typical country thing is you just get a compressor and a Fender amp and a slapback delay and a telly and you're good to go.
yeah. That's pretty much what I was told you needed.
Yeah, so it's crazy, man.
Yeah,
But
that and he has a pedal through Wampler, right? The Paisley Drive, I'm pretty sure it's called.
yeah, he does. I got it sitting right over there.
Huh.
It's the Paisley Drive. It kind of I've known Wampler for a long time too, and we've become friends and stuff. And that one just it kind of mimics what the Z-Rec does in a pedal form. I think. Um, I used it for a long time before I could afford a Z-Rec, and then I got the Z-Rec, and I'm like, well, putting these two together doesn't really like it just kind of it's just I don't really need to. So I use Brent Mason has a pedal with Wampler called the Rewired that just came out,
Hmm.
and it's an overdrive and a distortion. And I just got that beginning of this year, and I love it. It works so well with those Z amps.
Really?
I use that distortion for a lot of that, like I said, the heavier stuff where I'm doing more of the you know bending and long notes, like bluesy and like rock type stuff. It's really good for that.
Yeah, it's funny. I have the original Rewired, but I never used it. I only got it because the other guitar player in the band had a tendency to leave his stuff out, and I got tired. That was his sound, and if his pedal blew up, he wouldn't have his sound. So I was just like, let me just buy it back up, and I just never messed with it because I just never did.
Yeah. No,
But
it's a great pedal. A Wampler makes such great stuff. I think I'm looking at my board right now. I've got one, two, three, four, five, six Wampler pedals on
nice.
the board.
Yeah,
I love what he does.
yeah. Didn't he named his son after Brent Mason? Didn't he? I think he did.
Probably I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. That's awesome, man. Well, dude, I thank you for having me. This is awesome. Like I said, I've been watching what you do for a long time now, and a big fan of it. So it's an honor to be a part of it now.
Dude, yeah, thanks for coming on. And I'm a huge fan of your guitar abilities. Like, big fan.
Thank
Like,
you, man. We'll have to get you out to a show one of these days and show you the rig and everything.
yeah. Ah, I could watch them for hours. I would love to. That would be cool to do one.
Yeah,
Like a rig,
absolutely.
Hayden Baker rig rundown.
Yeah. We've done a couple like on our own, but man, the day that Premier Guitar calls and wants to do one, I'll be like, okay, we made it.
Yeah.
We're doing a rig rundown, man.
Oh yeah, dude. I hours I could watch them. I love them. It's
Awesome.
Gear's fun. But yeah, man.
Gear is fun, man. Well, yeah, thank you again, brother. This was a blast. We'll have to do it again next time I get around to putting a record out.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, hit me up or hit up
Awesome,
Steve.
brother.
But yeah,
Absolutely, man.
well, you have a good night, man.
You too, brother.